Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for tuning in Crypto Street Podcast. This is Dale coming to you from Iowa, hometown state, the brass belt buckle of the United States of America. Stand
You're
up,
from
put
Iowa?
your hand over your heart. Just kidding. What's up, Prince?
It was a good intro, man.
I know. I've been working on that one since November 2017.
Yeah, I could tell. It was good. It was good.
Finally busted it out of the lab.
Finally got it out. You know, I figure I just as well say that and try and really fool people since I really moved to Canada, but whatever.
It's true.
So-
the ban has been lifted.
Yeah, the band was Prince pulled some strings.
I call it a favor here and there. I do what I gotta do, you know.
Pulled some strings, got my band lifted. Him and Trudeau are like tight.
I would say we're tight, but you know, I know who to talk to get things done, right? So
Yeah, I mean, if you
You're
need
in-
something done in
Trudeau-
Canada,
Yeah.
send
Trudeau's
me-
actually terrified of Prince, but Prince has him kind of by the nuts a little bit.
when Prince strolls up 10 feet 6 inches, Prince, you're gonna be a little intimidated.
10 feet 6 inches.
My
I like how
hind
the 6
leg,
inches is
yeah.
added on, as if 10 feet is not tall enough.
What's up, Killa?
Not too much. The markets look a little bit shitty, so I was getting optimistic that we were recovering, and now we're not. So we'll see what happens.
We're going to 8K. I hate to say it, but
Take that back.
You're
I
probably
take
right.
it back. Today's episode we're recording on the 23rd. I don't know what day of the week it is, but it's the 23rd. It's going to be probably one of our most controversial guests to date. His food takes are absolute shit, most of them.
People
Part
do.
of Bully and I's 2020 promise would be that this guy will be thrown in jail. So what we're actually doing is we just got him on tonight and we're honing in on his location, and he will be arrested by the end of the episode and thrown in jail. Mainly in due part because of his pineapple and ranch pizza. So without further ado, Ramp Capital, we're just going to refer to you probably as Ramp. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Enjoy your free moments before the police raid.
Let's get started.
Let's get started. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself, how you kind of got into traditional markets, and then maybe how that spilled over to crypto.
Yeah. So I actually wrote a post on this recently, but Ramp Capital kind of started from a zero hedge article, multiple zero hedge articles actually. In 2012, 2013 timeframe. Basically, there were some posts coming out about this end of day ramp, and then he kind of dubbed it the 330 Ramp Capital. And then I kept seeing it over and over as I was reading these posts, and then I was like, somebody should create like a Twitter account for that. And so I did. And, you know, within the first day or two, I think I had a couple thousand followers already, which, you know, 5 or 6 years ago, I feel like that was a pretty big thing in FinTwit, at least, because, you know, there was still just, even all the people now that have, you know, 75, 100,000 plus followers, they were kind of in the same boat with, you know, a couple thousand here and there. And a couple thousand here and there back then was, okay, this is somebody, whatever. So it was kind of a joke, but then I guess that's, you know, after instantly creating it, you could kind of just tell that the people, I guess, were in on the joke or whatever. So I kind of just ran with it, and obviously with my avatar, you know, the story behind a little bit of the backstory behind that was I was trying to find a good avatar, and so I just went to Google and typed in ramp, and the first thing that popped up was this handicap symbol. So I kind of used that and went with it. I haven't changed it since day one. But so that kind of started from there, and then, you know, from and then I don't even remember. I'd have to go back and look. I'm sure I had just terrible tweets, you know, 5 years ago there, and they still suck today, but obviously, they're just more people are seeing them now. But I kind of have been channeling it more, just trying to do more stock analysis and crypto analysis, things like that. So I'm trying to take it a little bit more seriously. I don't know if you guys can see that, sense that
I
at all.
cannot.
Okay, damn it. That's the hard switch though. That's the hard switch.
Really
where it's like, how do you go from, people sometimes they'll some of the friends that I'll private message and whatnot, they'll send me this stuff that I have to post because I don't have to answer to anybody. It's like, oh, well, they can't do it. But I was like, well, why can't you do this? Because you can't like make jokes as as an investment advisor. Like, is that not allowed per the SEC or something? Like, I mean, Elon Musk does it all the time.
No senses of humor allowed.
Right. It does seem like that though, right? So a lot of people send me a lot of stuff. So they're just like, hey, can you just post this so I can think? So then everybody can think it's funny, I was like, all right, whatever. So I do get a lot of stuff that's most of my stuff is still original though. Don't get me wrong. I'm a content creator, not a content creator.
So what you're telling me is that when your Twitter account, for those that don't know, it's Ramp Capital LLC. So you really are a business. You have multiple people. Interesting.
Yes, and it's a legal business entity.
It's legal.
It really is.
That's great.
You've had it for like a number of years. Does
I'm
it
not
feel
gonna
at
tell
all
you.
like a chore now? Or
No, that's a good question. I don't view it as a chore because I don't have to. Again, it's more of like I don't have to answer to anybody. So I don't know. It's just fun. It's obviously it's like I like to. The thing I like to use it most for is just getting engagement on certain things that are really controversial. And whether I do that with a poll or a hot food take, I just kind of like to see people's responses. Honestly, it's just enjoyable for me just to read everybody's responses all day.
So you really read all 200 plus responses?
I get I forget. I think I get like 1,200 comments a day. I think something like that.
Jeez.
Yeah. So it's kind of blowing up a lot where it's hard to stick with it. But I try to. That's where it's like, so part of the things I do like with my stream too is, I follow less than 200 people, and I've worked really hard to keep it that low. And it has nothing to do with there's tons of people that interact with me every single day, like, and I just know them. Like, it's funny because like I know their name, I know their face, their avatar, and I can see that I know exactly what they're going to respond and things like that. And it's just like, it feels like I'm already following them. It's just, I can't follow that many people because of the process that I do to create my own tweets and stuff. Because like I said, I kind of talked about this recently on a post. I think it was titled "Thanks for Playing," which is another thing I kind of created. I think that T4P. But what I kind of try to do is I just go through my stream and I kind of liken it to a rap battler where if I see a tweet and if something doesn't come to me within 5 or 10 seconds, there's nothing there. I just like keep moving. And so then it's more the thing. It's almost like I just do it and I tweet it. I don't second guess it because again, I don't have to like talk to compliance or somebody else. So, but yeah,
I think you and Bully are both like that. You know Bully, of course. Like, you guys are very like stream of consciousness tweeters or tweeters, I guess is the term.
Yeah, and I
think that's super important though, because Go ahead.
I just see people that have 4,000, 5,000 followers. I'm just like, there's no way that you can get any information from Twitter at all. Like, you have to just shorten it down and a lot of people too. I think a lot of people outside of FinTwit or crypto Twitter, like, they don't understand Twitter as much as we do. And like, there's so much information there, and if you know how to use it properly, it's just so advantageous in just so many different areas. And so I just, I focus strictly on that, and then I always stay on brand too. So it's always just the same stuff every day. So people know, it's like when they follow me, they basically know what to expect, right? Like, there's very rarely will I kind of go off brand unless something's like been bothering me and it's maybe or something personal that just like bugs me, which at that end now it's like I just try to use that as like I have this 100,000 plus followers or whatever, that I try to, promote something that's actually good and not some shilled product that is, might make me some money. That's not my goal anymore at this point.
All right, let's jump into a little market talk here. So you had mentioned you're kind of playing in the traditional markets. When did you start noticing crypto, and then, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of crypto? So first with how you noticed it, and then go on.
Yeah. So kind of my crypto background. So I don't have the exact date, but so I first got introduced to Bitcoin specifically around, I want to say it was sometime between probably 2011, 2012. If I go back and look at the chart, it'd be whenever it was whenever I was in single digits for sure, which is kind of crazy to even think about. But I wasn't buying it. It was my roommate at the time. I was living with my brother and basically one of his friends. So it was three of us. And he was a huge stoner, and I know it's a shocker, right? Like stoner who likes Bitcoin. But sorry if that's offensive to anybody. So I remember him trying to like talk to me about this, whatever you want to call it, this fake internet money. And he's one of those people he would just come up with all these crazy ideas. It was just a new idea every day about something. So then when he comes up with this, I'm like, dude, you are insane. And I just remember, him trying to talk to me about that. And I just kind of wrote it off as another one of his kind of crazy stoner theories. But then, like whenever it was, a year or two later, I had moved out and I was living by myself. And then, within that time, then I think there wasn't, it wasn't on TradingView or somewhere else where I could just sit there and watch it all day, and the media wasn't covering it either. So you never knew what the price was, unless you were part of that original crew that was knew about it. And I think though that he texted me or something, was like, hey, it's up to like $60, and I'm like, what? And so he made like 10 times on his money, and I remember specifically telling him like, dude, because we were doing just regular stock trading, and I remember telling him like, you have to, like, how do you not sell this? Like, you have to sell this. You just made 10 times your money in whatever it was, a year or something. Like, that's insane. That never happens. And then I don't remember if it even crashed or not after that, but I kind of feel bad now because it's like, shit. Like, I don't even know how many he had. He had hundreds of Bitcoin for sure, and I think he sold most of them off, but then he kind of transitioned into basically a miner at that point. And so he's still kind of doing that, and he's doing some programming stuff now. But he's mining. I remember even I have text from him still, like where he was telling me Ethereum was going to be the next one, and it was at $6 and $7, and then it goes up to whatever it hit, 1,500. I was like, holy shit. I just don't know if that makes him a good crypto trader. I think it's probably lucky, but
any new tech?
I still just never, I never understood. I was like, okay, yeah, whatever, man. Next thing you know, it's like, oh, it's $1,500. Like, holy shit. But then, yeah, so then at that point, then, it's obviously, it's becoming more mainstream. I could see it all over my timeline, and I can guarantee you could go back and look at my timeline. I was probably called it a bubble 100 times. But then also so then, as the media started picking it up, then one of my buddies who I was working with at the time, I also went to college with this guy also. And so then I found out he was into Bitcoin and in crypto basically. And he was getting he had an apartment, and he was getting paid in Bitcoin from one of his roommates who also worked with us at the time too. And I knew none of this at the time, and he's collecting hundreds of Bitcoin too. And I was like, shit, man. And then again, that was when it was probably a couple $100, and then that blew up, and then basically, so also this person I'm talking about, it's Twitter, it's BTC Fiend, FEEN. So he's actually also we kind of just launched on 330ramp.com. We just launched this crypto page where it's really just him posting stuff whenever he wants. I'm just kind of giving him a platform to do it, so he doesn't have to start his own site. So it's once or twice a week, whatever. But so he's the guy that was kind of then got me kind of back into it again. And then really, I've honestly kind of just like still for this whole time, which sounds ridiculous. I've stayed away still the whole time. Like I keep it at a distance, and I watch it, and I'm totally obviously for it. I just on Twitter, I just like to shit post a lot about it. So I think it's fun too. But I'm honestly like, messaging Pomp and some other people. It's just I'm rooting for it. I just I don't know. It's interesting. I'll say that it's interesting.
Do you have an opinion on like how sustainable it is longer term? Do you still expect it to die at some point, or just a gut feeling?
I don't expect it to die, but I guess I just don't. The thing that I've struggled with, I think the most is how, and I think most people struggle with this, is how do you actually value it? And then coming from, and I think part of the reason that people are like this too is because they come from the stock side or the equity world. And so, there's all kinds of different ways that you can value companies, like price to book and price to sales, whatever, price to earnings. But with Bitcoin, it's a little bit harder to do that, right? So I think most people are just turn into technical traders, and then they try to use that store of value, which again, it's just like, what's the price then? That's where I've always, it's not to hate on it. It's just more just like an unknown where it's like, if I'm going to actually put money in this, it has to be a 1%. And I think somebody did that analysis where if you put 1%, you could still outperform, overall in your portfolio. So, no, I think it's here to stay. I mean, it's been here for 10 years now, close to 10 years. Did it have its 10-year reunion yet?
Almost. I think like we're getting pretty close. I think I just got to think, like, I think Josh Brown has a saying about it where it's like there's something to be said for something just coming and not going away. And
Right.
again, I don't know what to value it at now, but it's been around for almost a decade at this point, been fairly prominent for maybe half of that. And you got to think like there's some sustainability just by not dying, and maybe that's like an overly simplistic thing, but there's something to be said for that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And so I think just part of the things that I like, if I was going to trade it, I would probably just do it strictly on technicals. I try to do a little bit of both, like on the equity side, on the stock side, a little bit of fundamental, a little bit of technical, just to kind of see both sides. And then I also have this quant, basically algo that kind of shows me price action, and so I can use that on Bitcoin and other coins as well. I use it through TradingView, and that's, I mean, honestly, that is the thing. In my buddy Steve gave me that too as well, and I've been tweaking it, and it's really cool because like I can see the price action. It basically is coloring the bars in real time, and it's like telling me kind of what's going on. And then it's just like there'll be times where it's just all red, even though there'll be times when the stock's still going up, and it's basically telling you just like you still need to stay away. So I've been using that, and honestly, it's had a lot of really good calls on buy here, sell here, but I still really just don't do it. I feel like if it would be easier, if I think I would probably trade it more if there was a Bitcoin ETF. So,
what is this indicator you were talking about? Is that something public, or is that?
Yeah,
part
give
of
me
it?
that.
it's not public, and it's not for sale.
Okay.
So it's kind of like saying that, back in like elementary school, I don't know, maybe you guys, this wasn't a thing where you were, but you're always like, yeah, I got a girlfriend, but she just is from out of town.
It's proprietary. It's proprietary.
Yeah, it's real. I'll tell you that. It is definitely real.
I'm
But
just kidding.
it is cool though, because like I said, I can do it on any time frame. I can do it on a 1 minute chart. I can do it on a monthly chart, and so you can really, honestly, it's just helped me with everything. Just seeing price action and not. Before early this year, I read this book, Quantitative Momentum, by Jack Vogel and Wesley Gray over at Alpha Architect, and that's kind of switched my mindset on some of these stocks, even Bitcoin too, because I've always been more the Benjamin Graham type intelligent investor, buy value, deep value when you can. It's just hard to find those sometimes, and then it feels like you sit in more pain. Like, you'll buy the stocks that are down 30, 40, 50% below their 200-day moving average, but still a good company. And then you sit there for 2 years and it basically just trades sideways. And then you see these companies like Beyond Meat, which, again, today hit just a new all-time high, and it's worth whatever, 12 billion. It's up 600% or something since the IPO a couple months ago. It's
crazy.
insane. It's insane. It's like, but these things are, so then it's like, now I understand it though, with the momentum side is just, and I'm trying to use the algo too for the momentum side, because it's a lot easier to buy dips in an uptrend versus trying to buy the actual generational bottom or dip in a stock that's just getting destroyed.
Yeah.
And there's just so much overhead resistance that it's just so hard. And it's just funny because like I always felt like, okay, on those momentum stocks, okay, this is going to be the time where like I buy the top, and I think it's just a mental game that people play. And it's really, and even the book even describes that too, where it's just like, I've also read a couple books this year about just the psychology of investing, like the Behavioral Investor and Daniel Crosby, and then the Geometry of Shapes is another one. So like some of these things, like, honestly, they're just like eye-opening books, because it's just, you read the stuff and then you kind of flip. So then once I started seeing the momentum on Bitcoin, now it's like, it just doesn't feel it's like it's going to top. It just keeps going up, and I can see that. And I'm like, okay, normally I'd just say up, top, short this thing. But it's just like, I think most people have learned their lesson trying to do that stuff with even like the stocks like Beyond, when you have to pay such a high premium to short these things or borrow the shares. It's so expensive if they're even available. I don't know.
What was the name of the book again that Jack Bogle one?
Quantitative Momentum, and they also has quantitative values. These are actually too on my I have a reading page on my website that I usually post all my books, but
I'm gonna check it out. Yeah.
just to throw in another plug there.
What's
it's
the
330?
Say the website again, right?
330 ramp 330ramp.com. And then I have a section that's reads and listens, where it's mostly just like, it's mostly finance books that I try to stay up on, and then some other random ones like a gardening book here and there. But
oh god.
So would you say your style has like gotten more active over time? Did you start more passive, or is it a mix of both, or kind of describe that balance?
No, that's a good question. It's actually the opposite. I think now it was probably 5 or 6 years ago, 7 years ago, maybe, that I was we were doing some stuff. Me and another friend, a different friend, were creating some iPhone apps when the iPhone app market was hot, which now it's completely saturated. But we created a couple of apps with stock market stuff. I'm not going to say the name on there, but I think he ended up selling it to somebody for $10,000 or something, which is kind of cool. But we created this thing, and we were basically trying to create some kind of trading method where we could have it automatically buy and sell for us. And then, back in 2013, maybe 14 time frame, we were like, I wasn't doing this full time either. This was on the side, but I think we were making 500 plus trades a year. So, more than basically 2 a day, I'd say, probably on average. Our trading fees would be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, something crazy, which I've slowed that down a lot. And really now I just kind of look for like the setup. I wait for the setup on whatever it is. I have a couple friends that will send me some tickers to look at, and mostly momentum now, because again, I'm trying to like train this algo to like look just at momentum names and see how it performs compared to the so that's kind of how I do it now. Is I most of my money is, I also wrote this in another recent post, but most of my money is tied up in passive investments. But like for trading wise, like I just have an individual account, and then I also trade in my Roth a little bit too. So I'd say maybe 5% would probably be about my active portfolio, but it still is really active. Like obviously I take it just as serious as if it was, 50%. It's just, I kind of am more patient now, I think, than I was. I mean, back then too, I was a lot more risky back then. And then since I've earned and saved some money up too, that's part of it too, is just trying to like protect what I've made so far. So I think that's another reason why I've become more passive on it too. It's just, I've had swings where I'd be up 30% on the year and then down 30% with, and 3 months later. It's just crazy. Just trading options and literally making every mistake in the book I think you can make on trading. I've done it. So when like some of my friends come to me and say, hey, I'm looking at buying Tesla or whatever, what do you think? And then I throw it in my stuff. I'll throw it in my algo to look at it and then say, okay, this honestly, it looks like shit right now, so I would avoid it. Like, oh, well, I'm going to buy it anyways. Okay, cool. Well, sorry, I tried. It's like, and then they are literally making the same mistakes that I made. I was like, I'm just telling you right now that you're wasting your time and your money here. But, and then of course they'll just do it anyways. And then they'll come back, oh, you were right. It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
But it's basic stuff, it's just really stupid things that they just keep doing the same thing over and over. But yeah, I'm definitely more passive, I would say, now than I used to be, but I'm still looking for just great setups, to be honest. I don't care if that's in crypto or stocks or whatever.
What's helped you get, better patience? Just kind of maturity.
Yeah, I just don't like. I think part of it is just there's at least on the stock side there, there's 4,000 plus stocks that you can trade. So it's like, you don't have to sit there and like try to nail the bottom every time. And you could even just set, whether it just depends on what stock it is. Like if it's a slow grower, then, you buy it and it goes down every 15%, you're buying it, just more of it, and just kind of putting it away and just hoping that it's not like the next GE or something. But
yeah,
it is still hard, especially whenever if you're averaging down on stocks. Like it can be really hard to sit there and just stare at this loss that's just in your portfolio, because people like to hold on to or add to their losers, right, and cut their winners short. So that's another thing that I'm trying to really work on too, is like letting the winners ride and cutting the losers short. But it's like one of my biggest. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
I just think like. Sorry, go ahead, man.
All right, I was gonna say just like one of my biggest losers, obviously, was Kraft Heinz recently, and they came out, and this was a couple earnings ago, and they came out and dropped almost 40% in a day, which is just so huge for a stock like that, which I was pretty upset about. But it was so it's just kind of right now. It's just like, now the question is, does this thing gonna try to? I'm not even trying to get back to even on. It's just, is this thing going to even get back half of what I lost there, or just keep an eye on it? It's just basically trading sideways, waiting for the next earnings, which will probably drop again. But it's just sitting there staring at this 40+% loss constantly in my portfolio. It would just, I think it's a psychological thing. If you could just get rid of it.
I think a lot of people in crypto would take a 40% loss right now.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys do the volatility and the big swings. Like I said, I've done that. I did it with options. I mean, you could do all this stuff with, and now with how much leverage you can get on crypto, it's just like, Jesus, you can get like 100 to 1, right, or something like that.
Yeah,
leverage.
Yeah. I think like the more you read about like markets and trading efficient markets too, almost all of the evidence points to the fact that even if you can outperform in the short term, you probably can't in the near term versus just passive index investing. And there's more and more evidence indicating that every single day. I saw an article today. I think it's the Wall Street Journal does some kind of annual competition where they literally throw darts at a stock board and they pick a portfolio of a certain number of stocks that are decided completely by chance. They throw darts. And they compare that portfolio to a group of money managers. And it outperforms the group of professional money managers almost every single year, and by a lot. Right. And I think it's completely like, and this is like one of my biggest recurring pet peeves about crypto Twitter, is that everyone wants to be a trader. It's like this sexy thing, where everyone's like, I'm going to be the next big trader on crypto Twitter. And like, I'm sorry, for the vast majority of people, probably myself included, it's not worth it. It's just like, but it's this like big, like, aspirational thing where everyone wants to do it and it's cool. And the thing, crypto is a little bit different because it's it's not competitive to the point where all the alpha is gone. It's much less competitive, and you can make a living more easily actively trading it. But we're going to get to the point where you're really just kind of shooting yourself in the foot, I think, if you're trying to trade too much.
Yeah, there's definitely, and I think this was actually, I want to say that this was actually discussed too in the Geometry of Shapes by Brian Portnoy. He talked about that where I can't remember the name that he uses, but he describes how I think it's called the behavioral gap. So that behavioral gap, in like the differences in your alpha is between making all these changes to your portfolio constantly, right, versus just leaving it there and making the wrong decisions like under distress, which is the worst thing you can do. So I think that's another reason why the passive tends to outperform. And I know what you're talking about, kind of on the dartboard thing. I've heard about that too, and it's funny because I'm contemplating doing a similar thing with that. So don't steal my idea if you guys are listening to this.
Writing this down.
So I wanted to do this as well, was to do a similar thing to that, except since I do a lot of polls, somehow figure out a way that I could do polls and it would be maybe even I throw in one crypto maybe out of all of them, but it'd probably be Bitcoin anyways. But basically what I wanted to do is have some polls where I would pick like certain stocks in certain sectors, either 4 or whatever, and then have my followers or whoever sees it off of Reto or whatever vote on what the portfolio should be every quarter, and then I actually take my own money and I do it, and then basically just track it and call it the BTFD ETF or whatever. And so I honestly think but it's just like you said, it's just like it's kind of scary to think about that. It's like I'm letting all these other people basically handle or like run my money, but then in reality it's like it'll probably do better, just because as long as I don't put anything on there that is just really stupid, like putting on Blue Apron or something that's just a piece of crap stock. But seriously, it's like as long as I put like a decent name out there I don't feel like there's a headline risk of something that it'll actually get voted in. I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be a cool little project to do and see if we could outperform. And then maybe I will launch an ETF. Say screw it.
Do it.
So I'm going to change topics here a little bit. You guys all hear about Justin Sun today?
Yeah.
Sure did.
Ramp, you're familiar with this or no?
I kind of caught a piece of it. I think did he get in trouble with money laundering or something?
It's been a weird day. So it started out there was like reports that him and his lunch and all his little crew that he was amassing to have a lunch with Warren Buffett gets canceled because he's got kidney stones.
Quote unquote.
Okay. Then, in typical fashion from some Asian news outlet, some Chinese news outlet, it's surfacing that he's pretty much stuck in China and he can't leave because he's being investigated. So, of course, the entire day, Tron is just getting shit on completely. And then a few hours later, Justin Sun comes out with a nice little live stream of himself. And in the background, it looks like he's in San Francisco. So it's like, okay, what the hell is going on here? This is like, it was just a peak crypto moment today with Justin Sun. Like, is he ever going to make that lunch? I don't know.
I think at least he's stuck in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
He can't go back to China, I don't think.
I doubt he would want to. If he is being
tweeted an hour ago. I'm searching his tweet. He says, "I feel so much better now. It seems I will be back to work with full speed on this Friday. Smile face. #Tron. #TRX. $.
Oh God.
#TRX. #BitTorrent. #BTT.
Hashtag no more kidney stones.
He's like, just got off the phone with the lawyer. He says the kidney stones should be fine.
I'm gonna respond to him right now. What do you want? Hashtag no more kidney.
Yeah.
All right.
Like,
This is live, everybody. We're live tweeting right now.
Like, it was just, I don't know, what a day. Like, I was like, okay, like this
Okay,
is just
like
and then there was McAfee too.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, come
Abducted.
on.
Abducted
Allegedly.
and all this whatever, and it's like, oh my god, like this is just all in like a 24-hour span. We got Justin's son all over the place according to news outlets. They don't know where the fuck he is, but he's got kidney stones. And then we got McAfee having his assistant or something taking over his Twitter account and threatening to release all this dirt on a whole bunch of people if he's not like put back out and not detained anymore. So it's just like today's been a real crypto Twitter kind of day. It's been kind of entertaining.
McAfee private message.
I think we all should have known it was bullshit. Like, oh, he did?
Yeah, I was joking around.
Did you say McAfee
I was
messaged
just joking around with them. Yes,
And
I was joking around with him a long time ago. I don't even know when this was. I have to go back and look. I might even delete it just so I didn't get caught by like the police or something. I'll have to look here. I'm looking to see if I still have it. Because I commented on something where he's talking about running for president, and I was like, oh, I'll totally, like, I'll be your campaign manager. And then he follows me, and then he's like, and then I'm like messaging him like, holy shit, this is real now. I was just joking, but I'll have to see if I can find that. I'll send you a screenshot of it.
So the running joke, or not joke, Bully and I are running 2020 etc. So when he announced he was running, someone tagged me and was like, Crypto Dale should be your VP, and he's like, he's welcome to be my VP, and I'm like, hard pass.
I think I saw something where, okay, so he posted a picture of he's got some really nice dogs, some shepherds. I like German shepherds. Well, somebody's like, so you've been on this boat a long time. How are these dogs going to the bathroom? He replies back that these dogs have been trained to withhold going to the bathroom for up to 4 months.
What? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
it's true.
I draw a line on things I'm going to believe. There's a line drawn there.
I might be gullible, but I'm not stupid.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the McAfee thing, or McAfee or whatever, was like his security guy doing the tweets, and like at the end of the last tweet, he's like, the bastards wouldn't even let him have a cigarette. And I was like, what is this, a fucking like, this is clearly a joke. Like,
well,
what?
Like John McAfee really embodies, a lot of crypto. I find like a lot of the, you know what I mean? Like he's just that level.
He's the people's candidate.
Yeah, he really is. And crypto Twitter, perfect place.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's just outrageous, some of the shit. Like it's just every day, it's something new, and just like, okay.
All right. Ramp, we're gonna do some shit food takes right now.
Let's do it.
So I'm gonna do some food takes that are hot on the crypto Twitter press, and you three are going to debate it basically. So the first and foremost is probably one that will start, and we'll have to finish with the same one just because it's such a hot topic. So bone-in wings or boneless wings?
Bone in,
take-
but
Ramp
wings still
go
suck.
first.
Either
Ramp
way.
said bone-in.
And wings still suck.
What?
Ooh,
They're terrible.
This is a
Yes.
very tough take.
God.
I have issue
Okay,
with multiple
time out.
aspects of
Time
this.
out. I would rather eat boneless wings than no wings at all.
That's fine.
Wow.
Okay, here's my stance. I've thought this through a million times because we've debated it in Telegram and all that shit. First of all, I want to put to bed the notion that boneless wings are only chicken nuggets. Who cares? That's
yeah,
beside the
chicken
point.
strips.
I realize they're not actually wings. Okay, let's get that out of the way. They're called wings. I realize they're not actually wings. However, with that in mind, a vastly superior food product. They're crunchier. They're tastier. They have more meat. They're easier. They're cleaner. Everything about them is better than bone-in wings. Not saying I hate bone-in wings; those are good too. But I think it's a wash in favor of boneless.
I'll eat whatever.
What's the meat in the boneless? So it's
chicken.
not like wing meat. I know it's chicken, but it's not
buffalo.
wing meat. Yeah,
Chicken breast.
It's fake.
It's even
beyond meat, probably.
Chicken breast. It's even a better
Okay.
quality of the
Hey,
chicken.
I've got a statistic for everybody that's going to blow your minds away, okay? Boneless wings, the bone-in wings, when like Tyson is Tyson, everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
The meat company. When they first came out with the bone-in wings, they were damn near paying people to take them
You
because
saying
no one wanted.
boneless?
No, bone-in.
Well,
Regular
I get it.
wings.
Like it's just a
Regular
mess, right? It's just
People,
a mess.
Tyson the company was basically paying them to take these these bone-in wings off their hands, and now they're their leading like revenue generator.
Well,
When was that?
It's a pain in the
I
ass.
don't know.
You got all
I'm just
these,
checking the chart. I'm checking the
bones to
chart.
clean up. It's
Prince is with me on this, I think.
it can be messy. Well, here's the thing, right? It depends on my mental situation at the time. What am I going to eat, right? I don't know if I'm feeling some mess. I don't know.
I've seen you eat bone in
If I-
wings, and you look like a goddamn barbarian.
That's the
Like a
thing, right?
child.
Yeah, you got to evaluate it. Who's around you? Who's watching you? Are you trying to impress somebody?
You're not
I'm
going to
trying
go
to
on a date and order bone
Exactly.
in wings.
You may as well
Yeah.
bring a full bib with you and
It's
a
like ordering
garbage bag
spaghetti.
because
You might as well just
it's
put sauce on the plate and just smear your face in it.
exactly right.
I'm a bone-in fan, but I will not turn away boneless wings.
I
like that.
I like
That's
them all.
sensible take.
I'll eat them all, but it's
Yeah.
it's a situational thing. You got to be aware, right?
But
That's all I'm saying.
is there gluten-free boneless wings? That's what really matters. I'm
I
half
think there
joking.
probably are. They're probably not good,
There have to
but
be.
I'm sure
I've
they
seen
exist.
Prince order wings and point to the menu and say, "Give me this guy right here."
I won't even say the name of it. I'll just point. This is what I want.
Hey, since we talked about Justin Tron, let's jump back to that a little bit here. You put a tweet out today, Prince. I got to read this because I want to make sure that everyone knows how this actually went down. Prince says, "I went to a Tron party once, to be honest. It was a nice event until serious Tron investor in suit approaches and starts getting nosy about why I don't hold the future of crypto. He was kind of rude, to be honest. When I see long liquidations on Tron, I smile with this memory." So we were at a Tron party at Consensus.
This is absolutely true. Yeah.
This guy comes up to us three, and we're just minding our own business. I think we were talking to some random person
We
too.
were talking to a dev who was with the Tron.
was
He was a beauty. Yeah, he was a cool guy.
He was great. Great. And so this guy comes up and he's like, sits down and looks at Prince and is like, "So how much?" I can't remember if he said how
He
much.
literally asked. He's like, "Yeah,
How much Tron do you guys have?"
Yeah.
And
like,
then Prince looks,
Who the
shrugs his
hell?
shoulders, takes a drink, and goes, "I don't know any Tron. I'm just here for the free booze."
I couldn't believe the audacity.
Extremely rude.
Who asks that? Who goes up to somebody? It's the equivalent of having somebody go up to you. Hey, so how many Bitcoin do you own? It's like, get out of my face. You know what I mean? Like, but he was rude. He looked at me with disgust. It was like I could
Like
feel.
he just slapped his mother.
Oh, it was ridiculous. And then he starts asking me why. Why don't you own Tron? Like, what are you thinking? And I tell him, I'm like, it's a shit coin. They're all just shit coins.
I can
And
confirm.
Again, I get this glare. It's like, and this guy is not really drinking either. So
That was red flag number one.
That was an interesting thing. Here we're sipping our drinks and he's just sitting there sober as a nun. And he's getting riled up. I'm a little uncomfortable, I'll be honest. We ended up leaving not long. We left not long after.
He drove us away, really.
Yeah.
I think one of the worst parts was like he wasn't just disgusted; it was almost like he pitied us. Like he was like, like what?
Looked down on us.
You don't have any.
He snubbed.
All right,
he
bro.
put his nose up at me.
Where was his party at?
New York.
It was actually a sick location. Like
It
It was awesome.
It was.
It was like the 42nd floor of some building in New York.
Yeah, it was. It was a nice event, but not a nice person.
Prince almost had to throw him off the balcony. We
Yeah.
were getting very
Well,
upset.
and then what? We had some kid in the lobby asking us who we are, and
Oh, this guy was one of the
Yeah.
strangest people.
we're like, okay,
Yeah.
man, I know you mean well. Like, we're like, okay, yeah, we do a podcast, and we're like trapped in an elevator going down to the lobby with him, and
Literally.
literally trapped in an elevator with this kid. And you know, I think he meant well. You know, I
Yeah.
don't think he was trying to be a dickhead, but you know, he just was. He starts asking, you know, literally, so how much money do you make per episode?
He has no
What?
social cue.
Like,
wherewithal.
man, I don't know you. Like, chill, you know? Whoa. And he's like, I think I'm gonna start a podcast myself. Talk about Tron. Like, all right, man.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I gotta go this
Hey,
way, you go that way.
We're like, there's a
Have a
guy
good
upstairs
night.
that would love to talk with you about this.
Yeah.
Have a
Dude,
good
that one
night.
guy, he almost followed us into the Uber. Remember?
Yeah, he did.
Like,
Oh, fuck.
was
He
ridiculous.
tried. He tried.
He'd have gotten eaten alive by Reppy at the block party.
Fuck.
oh my God. I can't even
Yeah,
imagine.
there's some consensus moments. I don't I don't even think we talk much about consensus afterwards, and here's some consensus moments for the people. So yeah.
We're here for the people. All right, Ramp, last one. Pineapple pizza.
The bomb.
Disgusting.
Why? Explain.
Pineapple does not belong on pizza.
You know it's pretty good though? When you take the pineapple off of it and just eat it like that. It's not bad.
Yeah.
Then it's just like ham cheese pizza, I guess, but
Oh. Like,
Well,
you maybe get the
I do
essence of
prosciutto and
pineapple?
pineapple. I do prosciutto, pineapple, jalapeno, and then of course dip it in ranch at the end.
That's extremely fancy.
What does Bully say is about ranch?
Like
I
pig
can't
sauce or something.
you know,
Pig
I'll be-
sauce. Yeah.
I'll be
Pig
honest.
sauce.
Trash
Ranch-
pig sauce. Doesn't
Ranch and
Yeah.
pizza is pretty
Sauce.
good. Okay.
No.
I'll get shit on for
Oh
this.
no.
I'm unsophisticated, whatever. I know who I am. And if there's a bottle of ranch around and I got a slice of pizza looking me in the face, there's a good chance I might dip a little bit. So
Yeah, I think the
Still,
obsession
on
with
that
me
note,
started
we're-
in college, so I think it was a drunk 3 a.m.
that is
There
how
was
it
ranch,
starts.
and then all of a sudden
It
I was
is.
like, wow, that was really good.
Yeah. it's always yeah.
Interesting. All right, Ramp, what you got for final words?
Can I throw a few plugs out?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, once we receive the Bitcoin, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two
for sure.
BTC.
Yeah, so like I said, I just kicked off my blog, so if you guys would like to check that out, it's www.330ramp.com. Couple shout outs to I've been working with my buddy Will Hershey over at Roundhill Investments. They just launched the Nerd ETF. Check that out. It's a esports ETF. You'll see that on my blog too. And I had a bunch of others written down, but I don't want to take all your guys' time.
All right.
I know, right? I should be plugging these
All right.
things. I'm like, whatever, I don't care.
Yeah, all these people that you told you're coming on this and going to plug, they're going to listen all the way to the end and be like, what the fuck, Ramp?
All right, let me just say that at least the products that I use. So I use Canalys. They're at Canalys Models on Twitter. Y charts. That's where I get like all of my charts that I do, and all the data that I get on just random shit. Like Folio, I just started that a couple weeks ago. Andy Swan is the guy you want to hit up for info on that. TradingView, obviously, that's the thing I get on every single day. And my buddy Pierce Crosby is working there now. He's doing some cool things over there. So I don't know if I'm saying anything new that you guys haven't heard of, but
I feel like this is the credits at the end of the movie where it's like just rolling through.
hey, yeah,
It works.
Part of the things I've been doing, like I said, with my stuff is just I try to find stuff that's I think is really cool, and people are putting in a lot of time and work and effort, not just trying to be some furu selling some product or chat room. So
Mhm.
I get a lot of emails on, hey, you want to partner with this, whatever, and I turn a lot of that shit down. It's not worth it at the end of the day to
Mhm.
get one bad apple and just like screw my brand or reputation or whatever you want to call it. So I'm trying to focus more on stuff. So if anybody is still, I'm still always open to those types of emails. So if you guys want to send me an email, my email's timestamp@330ramp.com.
Cool. All right, check him out. Twitter, Ramp Capital LLC. That is the @. I'd like to thank Prince. I'd like to thank Killer. I'm drinking a Hy-Vee flavored water. Shout out to them. Shout out Apple for the amazing math.
Shit, I forgot. I got to get one more shout out to White Claw.
Oh boy!
If you guys are listening, I'm trying really hard. And Chipotle too.
Shout out Bush Beer. All right, everyone. Thanks, Ramp. Thanks for coming on from Killer, Whale, Prince, myself, everybody. Tip your waitress, Hootskis. Have some chill out. Have a good weekend. See you guys later.
See ya. Thanks for having me.